Good evening. Welcome to COVID Cast number 22. So today's going to be a quicker cast on this sort of sad Saturday. But I've got a few things for you, mainly talking about the virus today. So if we go over to the Johns Hopkins case tracker, at the moment we are looking at 1,196,553 new cases of total cases of coronavirus. Sorry, total cases of coronavirus. So, worldwide. So, what are we seeing in these numbers? Well, we're seeing some positive things and we're seeing some negative things, which is a very dumb statement. Anyways, basically, what we're looking at right now is a few different stories around the world. We're looking at Europe, who right now is, depending on the region, is at their peak. The US, which is approaching its peak, probably, I would estimate, maybe 3 weeks away from our peak right now in new cases. And then maybe another week after that will be the peak in daily deaths, if I had to guess right now. Obviously, I have no guarantees, nothing certain there. Maybe even less, because New York is getting very close to its apex, and that's been the main driver of U.S. cases. But other places will be the main drivers soon enough, unfortunately. And then, I guess, certain emerging worldwide case numbers that have me very concerned. About the future and what this virus is going to mean on a worldwide scale in terms of death and just destruction in general. So, Italy continues to be sort of the sort of case study for what I think we can expect to see in other quote unquote Western countries. So Italy continues to see kind of just this flattening out of their curve. I think the one thing is that, like, when we envision this peak of the curve, I think we have a tendency to think that after the peak, things will come down just as quickly as they went up. But that's just kind of not how this works. There's a lagging tail. So if you can picture that lagging tail, it takes a lot longer to get things down than it does to get them up. So Italy still, even today, reported today 4,800 cases. So, I mean, they're still seeing tons of new cases every day and 681 deaths today. So, I mean, you see it kind of keeps going. It's really hard to stamp out once it's so well established in the population, even with lockdown measures and those sorts of things. Spain today still seeing a pretty brutal increase, although it looks like the increase is going to be less than other days. So there's a chance maybe Spain has gone past its peak in cases, although Spain has not done as much testing as Italy. I'm going to post this, again, shout out to Jose for this, the Worldometer stats here. They provide a really nice table where you can see these new cases and new deaths here. And they also show you the total cases per 1 million in the population, what countries are reporting as serious and critical, the active cases, the people who have not resolved their case, either dying or recovering. So the active cases and the total tests each country has done, along with the tests per 1 million population. So you get an idea on a per capita basis of how many tests they've done and how many cases they have relative to each other. So on a per capita basis right now, Spain has overtaken Italy in both deaths per 1 million population and cases per 1 million population, while still lagging pretty significantly behind in tests. So I do think when all said and done, Spain is in for maybe a slightly worse total outbreak than Italy. But obviously we hope they both get back. And I do think that these are two of the countries that will maybe be through this first. Although Spain has now, in total cases, overtaken Italy too. So they're at 126,000 as of recording right now. Germany has been doing lots and lots of testing. Nearly done 1 million tests in Germany so far, which seems good. Their death percentage, they're a lot closer to about 1.5 percent case fatality rate, and it seems like their tracking has maybe been better in Germany. So this might be a little bit more accurate for what the total case numbers are. Which, if you apply that to some of these other countries, you start to see just how many more cases there likely are in this total case side, which is actually a positive in some respects, because that means, a lot of people likely just have such mild cases that they don't need to present to the hospital or that sort of thing. So that's we can take that as good news. Iran continues to be hit incredibly hard, but I would point out that Iran's total tests compared to the population very weak, and even same with France. This provides a really nice metric. The U.S. was really lagging in these tests for 1 million population for a while, and we've gotten better. We've been able to ramp things up, and we've taken it seriously. We've gotten more over time. It just took us a really long time, a critically long time, a time that's going to cost lives, but we have gotten way more testing. We've currently conducted the most tests in the world, sitting at 1.6 million tests conducted so far. Now, with 309,728 of those coming back positive. So if you look on the per capita basis, Italy, Germany, and Switzerland, actually, if you see down here, have done some of the most testing per capita. South Korea actually doesn't even have the same number per capita as Germany and Italy right now. Of course, that might be because they managed to contain their outbreak. They had that widespread testing before it exploded to the size that it is in some of these other countries. One that I would point out as just being a huge, huge, huge red flag to me is Brazil. This is the nation that I think likely we're probably, if I had to guess, just right now we're seeing the U.S. as the main epicenter of the virus. I believe that Brazil will have the next horror show images and just the next horror coming out of it. Per million population, Brazil's done 54,000 tests, and they have 10,360 positive results. And just that 54,000 test number is just so woefully inadequate. Not even 1,000 tests per 1 million population. So they stand out as a total outlier in tests here, just being absolutely terrible. And definitely the initial attitude of the government was woeful. So Brazil, to me, really just stands out as a total red flag. Sweden does too, somewhat. I know their approach has been vastly criticized, and I'm definitely agree. I'm not quite sure about what they've been doing, but I have heard just stories that they're kind of just letting COVID be and just letting it happen, which is just such a terrible strategy, such a terrible idea. Other countries that really stand out to me as just being total red flags. The Philippines, only 50 tests per 1 million population, over 3,000 cases. India, over 3,000 cases. They've done 116,000 tests, which is good, but then when you realize compared to their population, that's pretty much nothing. I believe they have 1.2 billion people in India, so pretty much almost nothing compared to their population. And so you just look at, same with Pakistan. Again, the testing, the screening is just absolutely woeful in these places. And it's going to cause huge problems. Indonesia, too, looking at this, just really, really bad. The lack of testing in these places, and it's going to come back to haunt them. Another one that sticks out like a sore thumb to me, even though it's not quite as egregious, still I notice being particularly low, is Turkey here, with only 1,900 tests per 1 million population, and they have nearly 24,000 cases right now. So that is going to be a huge issue. And Turkey's already a country with basically having a dictator with Erdogan. it could just get very, very ugly very quickly there. So, just some countries to look out for again: Brazil, Turkey, India, Indonesia, Pakistan. These are all places where I think we're going to see massive, massive impacts, and kind of, I guess, the third and final. I guess not necessarily wave, but just part of the world that this virus decimate. I guess I don't know. It's just the third iteration of this virus. I guess the initial was the Chinese epidemic. The second was kind of the European. I suppose you can split off the U.S. as being the third, kind of one in and of itself, which we're seeing get to its climax probably in April at some point, hopefully, and hopefully it does not continue to get worse into May. Hopefully that's when we're on the long, hard slog on the downside. And I believe at that time is when we're going to see a lot of these developing countries that just don't have any healthcare infrastructure that can deal with a mass pandemic really just start to get hit in horrible, horrible ways. So it's just a really big concern I have right now. So I hope there'll be more action taken in the future. I hope that the nations of the world will turn their attention to these places afterwards, because I think it's going to be really essential, because this virus is no joke, and I feel pretty comfortable in saying that when all is said and done, even if certain countries don't have, I guess, population decimating outbreaks, the entire world as a whole is going to have a pretty nasty black eye from this virus. So we got to be in it together. And hopefully what we can hope for is that maybe in the next month here, or in the next months, hopefully we'll get some sort of antiviral treatment. That's really what we got to hope for, because before the vaccine comes, we're going to just see humongous problems. I cannot emphasize enough. And that just brings me to the U.S. outbreak, which I'm talking about all these other countries. Well, the U.S., where I'm at here, in Traverse City, Michigan, is undergoing the worst outbreak in the world right now, as far as we know. So, like I already said, the U.S. at 309,000 cases and over 1,000 new deaths again today. Really, really terrible deaths from the U.S. And the White House is projecting now, finally, that, or at least the scientists are projecting, I shouldn't say the White House, that we're going to see approaching 2,500 new deaths a day by mid-April here is when they believe the peak of the U.S. epidemic will be. That sounds about right to me, unfortunately. It's very worrying. We really do have to do our best, because at this point, it's about saving lives right now. When we social distance, we're saving lives. So we got a lot more ahead of us, but we definitely have to continue to stay strong. In Michigan here, where I'm at, today our county reported an extra case and an extra death here. Very worrying that our county already has 3 deaths. 3 confirmed deaths to 12 cases to me. Seems like there's a lot more cases if we already have 3 dead here in Grand Traverse County. Otherwise, though, it may be a sign, actually, that our social distancing here, our early lockdown by Governor Whitmer, may be saving our area. But we'll see. I think it's a bad sign. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll continue to monitor. On the bright side, in Michigan has the 3rd worst outbreak of COVID right now in the country, obviously. With Detroit, just really terrible things happening in Detroit right now. I hope they're doing well, or keeping their head above water. They're really just trying to keep their head above water right now. Now we're at 14,225 confirmed cases, but both today's daily deaths and daily confirmed cases were down from the past 2 days. At 1,481 new cases today and 61 new deaths today. Still really, really bad numbers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the time this is over, we get to 50,000 cases. That would not be surprising to me, which is really bad. Going to mean probably over 1,000 deaths in Michigan, likely. So, really bad stuff. But I think Michigan should have the goal: keep our case count below 100,000 and keep our death count below 5,000. That would be what I would say is a reasonable goal. And I think we can do that if we continue to distance and comply with the guidance we have been given. Also, I'd just like to say I would recommend wearing some sort of facial protection when you're out. Maybe not a mask due to the shortage, or if you can't get one, but at least a scarf or something. I do think it's good, especially since we do have knowledge that, you can asymptomatically spread this virus. You can not know that you have it and be spreading it still just in your talking, in your breathing in and out. Viral particles can come out of your mouth when you have no idea and be infective. So just by wearing something over your mouth, that stops that if you happen to unfortunately have the virus and just not know it. Because as you can imagine, worst case scenario, you actually have the virus and you realize you've spread it to people. If unfortunately you do have the virus, you want to take comfort in knowing that you were protecting not only yourself, but others at the same time. So I know that was kind of a rant, ramble, rave today. I'm a little bit tired right now, not going to lie. But I'm going to leave you with one new thing I'd like to do. This is something that I decided to start doing today on my Snapchat streaks. I'm going to start doing a question of the day, and I would love it if you could respond in the comments section. So anyone that gets my streaks knows what I'm about to ask, but here we go. Today's question of the day is, when this is all over, what do you want to do first and why? All right, this has been Henry Hushke. The day, just for my recording purposes, is April 4th, 2020. It is a Saturday. I hope you're having a spectacular Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow on Sunday.